Hi guys, thanks for joining us for yet another video. My name is Denise and today Ahmed and myself are going to be answering probably some of the most commonly asked questions that we get asked all the time. Most of the questions that we do get asked are not just about Ahmed's detention and his court case that he's got coming up and court cases that he's had in the past, but also questions about how he manages to keep his morale up while he's in detention and how we've managed to keep our relationship going with him being away and at times so far away that we don't even get to see him. So we are going to be answering some of those questions because it pops up over and over and over again. And after the last video that we did about us suing the government, if you haven't seen that video yet, be sure to click on that before you watch this. That actual video actually raised such an influx of questions for us that Ahmed and myself just decided that we would do a Q&A video addressing some of the most commonly asked questions that we get asked all the time, not just since making that video, but also in the last 5 or so years. So before we get into today's video, Ahmed and myself would just like to thank each and every single one of you who have supported us along this crazy journey over the last 5 years and a bit. There's so much that we couldn't have done without all of you. When you go through something as tough as this, you don't realize at the time, but you really do need the support of the people around you, just to remind you that it'll all come to an end, that this will come to an end one day and there is light at the end of the tunnel. So with that said, Ahmed and myself sincerely want to thank each and every one of you who have been by our side along this journey. We couldn't have done this without you and still have our sanity at the same time. If you are new to this channel, please remember to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Remember to turn on the post notifications so that you can stay up to date with all our videos. So now let's get into the good stuff. I think that the fact that we get asked this question so much, I'll take that as a compliment. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but in this instance, I'm going to take it as a compliment. But the answer to that question is no, I'm not a lawyer, and no, I'm definitely not Ahmed's lawyer. I wish I was, because to be quite honest with you, our lawyer is fantastic. I'll happily be mistaken as her any day, but that's not the case. So moving on. To be quite honest with you, this question is even more bizarre than the previous question about whether or not I am a lawyer and whether or not I'm Ahmed's lawyer. Am I a cop? Really? Like, really?
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about?
Ahmed first asked me this question too when I got to know him. Like, I was never introduced to him that way, but after speaking to him and getting to know him for about 3-4 weeks, he actually turned around to me one day and he said, "Can I ask you a question?" And he said to me, you know, like, this is a serious question, but you know, don't take it personally. And I'm thinking, okay, what could this question be? And out of all the things that he could possibly ask me, he said to me, "Are you a cop?" What the fuck? I kind of think it's funny. Like, I kind of think it's funny how people would even think that. If I had to rationalize it, I would say that that probably comes more from the motherly instinct, from being a mother. Yes, there are some things that intuitively carry over into other areas of your life, and I get told all the time that I ask a lot of questions. And not only do I ask a question, every question that I ask has probably another 10 questions attached. So every question that I ask Ahmed or, you know, people when I'm getting to know them, and it's not even in an inquisitive way, it's more like conversational. But every time I do ask a question, there's usually layers to that question that I peel back to really get to understand and get to know the person that I'm talking to. To me, I find it as a way of just connecting. To them, they took it as so inquisitive and they all thought that I was a cop. But yeah, no, I'm not a cop.
Oh, hell no! Oh, hell no! Oh, hell no!
I don't think I could ever be a cop. I don't think I'd ever work in that field. No disrespect to police officers, because obviously they have their place in society as well. But on a more serious note, I don't think I could ever work as a cop, as ABF, you know, as an ABF officer, as a Serco guard. I don't think I could ever work in any kind of industry that enforces any kind of authority over other people. The main reason being is because me personally, I couldn't work in an environment that was depressing. You're constantly dealing with people that are depressed and situations that are not favorable. And it's just not something that I could see myself spending the bulk of my day doing. I would pick up on that energy, it would eventually permeate through to your soul and rub off on you. And before you know it, you'd be somebody who was probably depressed yourself as a result of performing your job. Eventually that would take a toll on me. I wouldn't want to come home at the end of each workday carrying this energy with me and constantly feeling depressed because my work environment is so depressing. You're always dealing with unfavorable situations, doing things that you don't want to do. I wouldn't be able to enforce authority over people because it's not really in my nature to force people to do things that even I don't believe is humanely right. So in saying that, I couldn't be any type of law enforcement for that matter. I'm definitely not a cop. I may ask a lot of questions, but that's about as far as it goes.
For that, no, I did not come to Australia illegally. I didn't come here as a refugee. I came here as a permanent residency, PR. I had my PR when I first came to Australia. The visa I had when I first came here, it's 101 child visa, permanent residency. So that's how I came here. My family, my mother, my mom's side, they're all in Australia before me. Wow. I've actually witnessed a lot of things in detention, to be honest. Like, I've seen people cutting themselves from here all the way to here, slicing their neck up to kill themselves. I've seen people hanging themselves. I've seen so many shit that I have never ever seen in my life, not even in my own country when I grew up. So the things I've seen is I cannot describe, but one thing what I do remember, what always sits on my mind, and that sometimes I have nightmares of it, is there was one time back in 2015, there was this Iranian Afghani refugee guy that set himself on fire. Like, we were sitting in a room next to him, yeah? Around 4 or 5 o'clock, I smell smoke, like really dark, bad, black smoke. So I came out of the room and I go next door and I can see the smoke from under the door coming out. So I opened the door, didn't open, I kicked it in. Once I kicked it in, I opened the door and I looked straight in front of me. Like, there was right straight in front of me, there was this guy sitting with a blanket wrapped around him, and it's already on fire, like the blanket was burning. And the whole thing stuck on his head. And I just stood there and I looked at him and I don't know what to do, whether to pull him out, whether to go in there, rescue him, I don't know what to do. But what I do remember is his eyes were popped out, like they were out. And his eyes were looking at me with so much pain, so much devastation, so much anger. Like, it's like he had enough. And I sat there and I just kept looking at him, and like I froze there, stuck. I don't know what to do. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. It's like that, and the image of his eyes got stuck on me, and it's like I felt the pain he was going through. I felt like the hurt he was going through. But what amazed me, what made me more shocked and stood there, is he wouldn't even scream. He wouldn't even, not even one sound of him came out. Anyway, the officers come and they threw me out of the side, and they went inside trying to put the fire out, but it was too late. He burned 80% of his body. And while they had him on stretcher, the ambulance came in there, while they had him on stretcher, I kept looking at him, and them eyes just followed me everywhere. Till this day, 4 years later, I still remember the day he burned, the way he burned himself. So God bless him, let him rest in peace. Don't want to say anything bad about him. The second thing I witnessed, this is the second time that I've witnessed really bad thing, is I was in Melbourne. That's when I first came into detention. Now I was in Melbourne. While I was in Melbourne, I never knew that at any time you can be moved around detention centres. Like, that never came to mind. I thought once I'm in Melbourne, I'm staying there in Melbourne till my family, like till I get out. But they called ERT, emergency response team. They come in my room at 3, 4 in the morning, and then they had these shields in front of them, like that sits from the head all the way to the toes. The shield in front of me, rains 10 of them. They grabbed me on the ground, threw me on the floor. Once I threw me on the floor, put the handcuffs on me, handcuffed me like to my back, walked me out like this. I was literally like this walking outside. And the worst thing about it was I was in my undies and I was so scared, so like, I never witnessed anything like this. Like, who does that?
Well, now that is some fucked up shit.
To be honest, like, I can't say I'm afraid or I can't say I'm not afraid. Like, I don't want to come to this point. I don't want to come to this point where I want to take on the government. And like, government is just like people when they hate or take suing the government, they think of it like something big. It's not actually as big as we think. Like, there's just another party, another government, another organization, you know? Like, that's how I see it. So I'm not scared, but I am nervous because, like, I just want these things to be over. I just want it done and dust and put this behind me and move forward with my life and my family. Like, my family have been gone through so much because of me, and like, to be honest, taking on the government, it's not something we wanted to do, but it had to come to this because, like, they weren't gonna let me go home. Like, they wouldn't let me go out, they wouldn't let me leave the country. So what was I supposed to do? Sit and wait?
Bitch, please.
I guess there's always that little bit of doubt and concern that you have in the back of your mind when you're going up against such a big administration like the government. But you know what? At the end of the day, Ahmed and myself have been through so much. But my faith and spirituality in knowing that there is life beyond this earth realm and there is a higher power at work and something out there much greater than what mankind can control. It gives me comfort in knowing that going up against the government isn't just about going up against a massive organization. That perception there is a perception that society has helped us mold. There is a higher power out there that guides us through every single step that we take in life. While the government may seem big in a lot of people's eyes, God is bigger. The higher power out there is way bigger. Anyone who knows me well would know that everything that I do, like every major decision that I make in my life, I do from a place of intuition. But through my faith and connection to the higher power, I know that not only will I be protected as I walk this path and do what I've got to do, but I also know that it is my angels, it is this higher power that guides me to make the decisions that we need to make. Coming up against the government like this, it wasn't something that I feel we came to on our own. I know for a fact that it was a sign from God that this is something we had to do. We prayed on it, both Ahmed and myself prayed on it. We prayed for the right answers, we prayed for the direction on what we should be doing, which path we should be taking, and time again, in various different ways, we were constantly shown that this is the path that we had to take. Why we had to go down this path, it's not even something that I even bother questioning. So it'll never make rational sense in your mind, because what God has planned for you and what He can see lies ahead of you is something that I probably can't even conceive as a thought just yet. And as long as I can still feel the spirit of that higher power within me, there literally is nothing to be afraid of, because there is no man on earth, no government on earth, no department on earth, no force on earth at all that could be higher than the force of God. You listen with your heart, you listen with your spirit, you listen with your soul, and you can hear God speaking to you. The answer comes through. So in saying that, no, we're definitely not afraid of doing what we're doing, because both Ahmed and myself know that we have the power of God behind us. And when you have the power of God behind you, any government organization in the world looks very small compared to that. An interesting question. One that I'm surprised that I get asked as often as I do, because to be quite honest with you, I never thought it was such a big deal. I've come to learn a lot about this religion and how strong the faith is in the followers of Islam. In saying that though, would I myself convert? The short answer to that is no. No, I am not converting to Islam. And would I ever convert to Islam? The answer to that, at this point, I'd have to say no. I've got no intentions of ever converting to Islam. I myself was raised in a Buddhist family, and although a lot of people don't see Buddhism as a religion, I think that's actually a good thing, because my viewpoint on religion in general, regardless of what religion it is that it's more of a man-made construct. So I do believe in a higher power, and I feel as though I'm quite a spiritual person. I believe that there is something greater than what our eyes can see, and there is something greater than humans on earth out there, a higher power. I believe in angels. I believe that I have guardian angels that watch over me, and I speak to them all the time. I ask for guidance all the time. I pray all the time to a higher power, but I don't associate this relationship or this connection to a certain religion. I don't associate that to Buddhism. I don't associate that to, you know, Christianity or Islam or anything like that. However, I definitely do respect other people's choices in whatever faith that they choose to follow. For myself personally, I believe that religion is a construct of man, and although at the heart of every religion, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Islam, whether it's Hindu or whatever it might be, at the heart of every religion, I think they all have good intentions. They all preach the same message, you know, they all preach the same message of prayer, of love, of hope, of faith, and so forth. However, the earthly practices, I feel, are very much a man-made construct, which is why I would never convert to any religion for that matter. It's not just Islam, it's any religion. I'd never convert or identify as being any type of religion. But I do know within myself that I believe in a higher power. I pray often. I pray all the time. I speak to my angels all the time. I speak to the higher power all the time. I just don't label it a name.
To be honest, do I want Denise to convert to Islam? For me, personally, no. But at the same time, why does she convert to Islam? Why does she stay the way she is? To me, it makes no difference, because I didn't marry her for the religion. I didn't marry her because she was this or that. I married her because of her pureness of her heart, because she's an amazing person. Like, guys, you only see a little bit of Denise, but you don't actually know how much and how big Denise is. Like, she's a really the most beautiful person I've ever met in my life. Like, I'll put a lot of weight on her, and like, thanks to God, till this day she's still next to me and loves me and does anything for me. But to be honest, like, I never seen or thought or had the ideas, or even we spoke about, like, I don't really mind if she converts. If she doesn't convert, but that decision, it's not my decision, that's her decision. So if she ever wants to convert to Islam, she's welcome to. If she doesn't want to, she's welcome the way she is, because I didn't marry her because of religion. I married her because of her, who she is. So in saying that, that's up to her, not up to me. Freedom. Now, my freedom's been taken away from me in every possible way you could think of. Like, the hardest thing about being here is not being able to be with my family, not being able to be with my partner, not being able to be with my kids. Like, they're my role models. They're the people I fight for every day. So the hardest thing is when I get moved around detention centers for no reason, when I get moved from Melbourne for no reason whatsoever other than just they need the placement. So they move me where I have visits every day, where my mother, my kids, my wife, my brothers all around me, where they cannot visit me. They move me all the way to Perth. I've been moved around so much that it has broken me every single time. But what I've realized when moved around is never get too comfortable. So I never sit in one place and I feel comfortable. So there's no point sitting there and feeling comfortable making it like your home. But in a lot of ways, like, everything about it is hard. Like, what isn't hard about it? Everything is hard. Like, my freedom is being held. My freedom has been taken away by a government that they're not letting me get out of the country, but also they're not letting me go back home. So I'm stuck in the middle. That's the hardest thing about being here, is not knowing when I'm going, not knowing what's my next step, not knowing what I'm going to do.
For me, I would have to say that the hardest thing about Ahmed being in detention, it would have to be not knowing when he's going to get out, like not having a release date. There was no lead up to him being detained that we could ever had been prepared for. And to be quite honest with you, I never ever knew that a system like this even existed before Ahmed was detained. To have him snatched out of the community one day without any warning, without any notice. We didn't expect that he would ever be detained for 5 years and counting. He literally got a phone call from the immigration department and said, come in for an interview. And he thought he was just going in for an interview. He went in for the interview, and to his surprise and to mine, it was just the department's sneaky way of getting him in there without telling him the real reason he was there. And they pretty much detained him on the spot and told him that they're cancelling his visa, detained him on the spot, handcuffed him on the spot, threw him in a detention centre, and he's never got out since. We don't know how long it's going to be until he's released. There literally is no release date. And the laws around immigration in Australia allow for our government to take as long as they want to take without any consequences to them. So they can take 5 years, 10 years, or even longer if they wanted to, before they make a decision about what they're going to do with him. So definitely that's got to be the hardest thing from my point of view about Ahmed being in detention. We just don't know how long it's going to be. We don't know when he's going to get out. And we just hope, every day we hope and pray that it's soon.
My mental health, I believe my mental health is good, because and why I believe that, because I'm not on any medication. I don't believe in taking medication for my mental health to be better. I've been in worse stages than what I am in now, but to be honest, I'm always active. I always keep myself busy. I always try and do things, and no matter what, you'll always see a smile on me. I believe there's a lot of damage has been done, but it's not gonna be affected till the day I walk out of here and the day I get to be home with my family. I think that's where that hard time I will find mainly about this detention. But while I'm here, I keep myself busy. I always try to do things. In saying that, I have had a lot of struggles and a lot of hurt and a lot of pain, but I care through it.
I must say that I think Ahmed is doing exceptionally well in terms of his mental health. So many people have self-harmed. Quite a few people have killed themselves. Almost everybody is on some form of medication, whether it's antidepressants or whether it's something that helps them sleep. And mental health is such a diverse and complex topic that it's not really something that I want to dive into. So overall, as tough as the situation can get at times, and you've got your good days and your bad days, I think credit to Ahmed where credit is due. He's doing exceptionally well, taking it exceptionally well. I couldn't be prouder. I put my trust entirely in God and in my angels, and I trust all the signs that they give me. I trust all the messages that get communicated to me, and wherever it is that we're meant to end up, whatever our purpose is through all of this, I trust that God has our back. I trust that He will guide us through all of this and keep us safe. Thanks for watching, guys, and we look forward to catching you as always in the next video. Bye.